The message that's coming through today is for the full moon, but if this comes to you when it's not a full moon, that is okay too. You will know if this is for you, it will resonate, but feel free to ask your spirit guides, ask your body if this message is going to serve you and if it is meant to serve you. To get into the message, there's a little rainbow here that's showing up on the cards I have in front of me, my little rune cards. So rainbows can be a sign that this reading is for you, a synchronicity that shows up for you when there's messages you need to hear, or confirmation that you've been asking for or tuning into. The sun feels really strong today, as much as this is for the full moon, a reading for the full moon that's come through at this time. This will apply as it needs to. I haven't been posting many readings lately because I have been honestly going within a lot and listening to my internal guidance for my personal needs for the past few months. But I felt today that it'd be good to share and connect in with the collective and see what was coming through. So let's tune in, let's feel, let's be open to receiving, and let's see what Source, God, Spirit has in store for us today, or for whenever you're seeing this. This does feel like a heart message as well. So this could be emotional. You could be feeling more connected to your heart. You could be feeling like you need to connect more to your heart. There's just this sense of like almost this breaking open. You may have gone through some emotional times recently, something that's made you have to break open, or there's this path that you're moving towards and you know that it requires you to loosen this guard, to open up more intensely and more fully, and come back to self, but in that same space, coming back to self for the purpose of, I'm hearing true love and unconditional love. Forgiveness seems to be a theme that's rising. Rage also seems to be rising. Abandonment and a lot of grief. It's interesting. One of the messages that's coming up about this is you're actually being asked to hold the space. There is this sort of expansion that you've been entering and circulating in, and you're being asked to hold bigger things, probably because you want to, but also part of you is hand in hand with the desire of you wanting to hold more and you wanting to receive more, and you feeling like it's time to bring in more of what you want because you're finally asking for it. There's also this, on the other hand, you're having to hold the space for a lot of you and a lot of, I'm hearing shared pain. This does feel like ancestral pain. This also feels like this is really, really deeply woven wisdom, but it's been like etched in, I'm seeing like journals, but I'm also seeing like stone, like this golden thread that's been etched into stone. And it's like this magic within something that would normally be very heavy and very painful if dealt in a way, I'm getting goosebumps, if dealt in a way that was not kind. So we can all hold a rock, and what we do with it is up to us. We can give it to someone else to carry, we can throw it at someone, or we can put it down, or we can crack it open. There's so many things we can do with it, but what we do with it comes from our own perceptions and our own experiences and our own pain, our own judgments, our own inability to let go. So to close this over. I don't want to remove it entirely, but for a really cold day, the sun is really beaming. Hopefully you can still see me okay. This opening up to more isn't just so that you can feel it, isn't just so that you can learn to release it, because I'm hearing that you've been getting really good at the circulation, and you've been asked to get good at that. You've been asked to practice that in many areas. I'm hearing there's money, there's the incoming and outgoing of relationships, of just random situations that would usually have a triggering impact on you. There's just this sense of incoming and outgoing, of letting something come in and letting it go out, and you finding safety in that, in not being able to hold on to something and something to move through you and it not necessarily stay with you or have to be yours. Because I'm hearing that there used to be fear around this type of circulation. There used to be fear around what it meant to receive and then to lose, and to receive and to let go. Because it was meant to become more, it was meant to not be with you anymore. And what I'm hearing is now the space that you're moving into is, yes, learning to receive, but learning to hold. But with that, holding self through pain and holding self through grief. Confirmation, but I'm hearing you've done this before. We've all done this before. But why this is coming up now is probably because it's a deeper layer of the heart space. And I don't think you've quite met yourself at this consistent level before. And it feels a little bit daunting, and it feels a little bit confronting. But it also feels like this, emotion. It also feels like this distinct connection to magic. This person that I'm talking to, or in this collective, there could be a few of you that felt disconnected to magic, or you felt like it didn't serve you, or you feel like you lost a bit of trust or a bit of whimsy. There's a bit of grief with that too, and I think what you're realizing and having to realize, 909 felt significant, what you're having to realize is that that whimsy that you had isn't gone. The magic that you had and was connected to isn't gone. It's just needing to be different. Because the way that you were operating before didn't come from only within. It felt like you were also outsourcing too much of your whimsy, too much of your magic. It felt like you were putting the power outside of you. And I feel like that's why it was removed, because you're now having to reconnect with a very distinct and very particular kind of magic. And you're still learning what that is. And it's going to continue showing itself through this deepening, through this holding of more. And not in a way where you're clinging to it, but in a way where you're just building capacity for it. And there's this distinct, intense kind of magic that you've tapped into before, but you've always been so scared of. I do feel like there's a bit of a witch wound coming up. I almost said the word purgatory. This shadow aspect of you that's been so judged for your magic, been so hated, been victimized, there's a P word coming up, persecuted for your magic. And maybe it doesn't feel so relevant in this life, or maybe it does, maybe it's showing up in snippets. So you're like, yeah, I can kind of guess it, but you can't understand and feel into the intensity of it because you're not consciously seeing it for what it actually is, because you're still used to at times judging your emotions and judging the way that you feel towards things based on what you can remember and based on what you can understand. So this intensity of emotion that you feel for being persecuted and hated and subjected to such terror and pain and betrayal for your magic, for your power, it didn't start in this life, and I think you know that. Because it didn't start in this life, the memories that you have with this experience doesn't align with why you'd feel so emotional about this. And there's been like this control wound that plays up where you'll only allow yourself to validate certain emotions and forgive and accept certain emotions when you've had an understanding of it, and you are moving out of this, and you have been for a while. And because of that work that you've been doing, you're coming to a point where you're now able to meet yourself in this depth of feeling, this depth of betrayal, this depth of persecution for your power, for your whimsy, for your magic, for your utter freedom. This thing that you've clicked so, I'm hearing like eons ago, and you've known deeply within you. But like I said, because there wasn't that conscious awareness and example of it in this life yet, to that extent, it's been hard for you to meet the emotions and to feel and hold them and to accept them and love them. Because there was like, but why? I haven't really experienced that, so why would I take the time to do that? It didn't make sense, and so you didn't feel safe to process it. But you've been unlearning that program, and so be prepared and be aware that the next few releases that you have are going to be very heart-based and are going to be very much about what your power actually is, where your magic actually comes from, and just how capable you are of doing it. And that the emotions you have and the feelings that you have surrounding this are very potent, are very intense and huge. And you're going to hold them, and you're going to hold yourself through them as you reconnect back to what has always been yours, to wield, to own, to accept, to validate. And the understanding will come after. The recognition will come after. The making sense of it will come after. So just be with yourself for the next few weeks, for the next few months, when this unknown, intense emotions come to the surface, where you have felt so betrayed and so persecuted, and it's not going to make sense, and you're not going to have a good reason for it, and that you don't need to. Being able to hold yourself through things that you can't understand is what expands your capacity, is what expands you. Because we don't have to understand everything that we are. We just have to trust. And that is what actually expands your capacity. Understanding only gets you so far. And you've been realizing that. You know that understanding comes to you when it's needed. But your physical ability to hold what you can't yet fully comprehend is the true power, is the true magic. It's holding the unknown inside of you and still having love and still having security and still having trust. And that's what you'll be practicing. Things are going to start clicking and things are going to start working in ways that you won't understand. I urge you, and your guides urge you, to not fight it, to not resist it, because your brain can't comprehend it just yet. Because you're learning a very distinct process that was stripped from us a long time ago. And that is the power of true feminine energy, where it is not meant to be understood. It just is. And that power is frightening because so many of us are scared of what we don't understand. And so you're unlearning this, and you're going to show many others how to unlearn this as well in your own way, as this magic comes back to you, as you realize and re-embody what has always been there, but your mind has been told to not trust. You aren't alone in this, hence this video. This is happening to many, many people. And a lot of us aren't going to be able to consciously grasp it. So you're probably going to feel crazy. But you're not. You're deeply feeling things that are beyond conceptualization at this point in time. And all you need to do is support your body and your emotions so that you can hold and feel and process and expand your ability and your capacity to feel capable wielding all that you have inside of you without feeling like you're a problem, a burden. I say the word a reckoning, but it kind of feels empowering. It's really giving dark feminine energy, and I love it. You've been in the light for so long on a conscious level that your mind has formed so many judgments about yourself and about what you should and shouldn't be doing. And you'll really be unlearning that over the next coming months as well. You'll realize that every should do and every should be needs only to come from what you truly want. And that's it. I do feel your magnetism and your ability to hold abundance in all forms, not just money here. So take that how it resonates. A lot of us go straight to money, but it's not just that. That's just money is important, 100%. It's good to want money. It's very spiritual, actually. But your ability to hold and expand and feel safe in what you cannot control is going to be such a beautiful unfolding. And it's going to be a very big trust building process for you. But your magnetism and your abundance is going to also expand, because that's also connected to the heart. Trust in your inner guidance. Any crossroads that you come to, just lean further into your body. Lean further into what you would want. And when the resistance comes up in your body, because it is scared to go after what you want, that is your next step. That is where you will go towards it, as hard as it is. I think that's the message. I love you, and I hope this serves you.